afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little lovelies out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delish. And that life is treating you most deliciously, and I hope that you're feeling the love. You continue to feel the love, my little honey bunnies. Now then, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So the time is 17 minutes past 5 p.m. in the evening, my delicious little babies, of this 6th of June 2026. And the sun has got his hat on, hip 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 hooray, because it's been drizzling all day, on and off, like spitting. And well, the sky looks pretty dull, so they've decided to give us just a little bit of sunshine, and then I suppose it's just going to pee down again, my delicious babies, I should imagine. Okay, so what is it, my delicious babies? The past, I'd say a couple of days. No, I'd say a few days. I've been, what is it? I've sort of felt like, it's hard to explain, like, sort of like as if I've been, like, washed out. But I feel that the washed out, I feel, is up in my noddle. It's mentally, I'm not saying my delicious babies that, and I'm not taking Mickey out of anybody. Obviously, I'd never do that, my delicious babies. But it's like mentally, I've just felt really drained. It's just really hard for me to explain, my delicious babies. Plus the fact that I've been having this beautiful little robin coming into our garden, my delicious little babies. Such a sweet little baby, really, really pretty and sweet. Now, for anybody else who I've spoken to, they all say, oh no, with little robins, it's always good luck. But for myself, no, I'm going to hear something, there we are, like some sad news. And like, I sort of, for some unknown reason, I've done this for years, my delicious babies. I've gone through this for many years. Like, because I can feel, there we are, that I'm going to hear something. There we are, okay? Because for myself, little robins represent that, whereas for others, like I've just said, it's good luck. But I just hear a sadness, or somebody's had a severe, there we are, disappointment of some sort. But it's like, as well as though I'm sort of picking up, like, the energies of maybe somebody who, there we are, maybe they're not very well, or I don't know. It's like I do know, I'm sort of, it's like my energy's collecting it, you know what I mean, my delicious babies. Now, once I go through that stage, then there we are, everything seems to calm down again. But I spent at least, well, I did stumble there, right, rightfully so, where I did feel like just totally washed out. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Whereas normally, there we are, I am most energised. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? It's like I usually always wake up, there we are, with a spring in my step. But it's like the early hours this morning, my delicious little babies, I must have woken up, and not to go to the toilet or anything. It's just like all of a sudden my eyes just go bing, like open like that. And it's happened at least 4 times, in the early hours of the morning. My delicious little babies, I pretty much feel, there we are, that I felt like the same yesterday as well. And the early hours of yesterday morning, I actually woke myself up. No, I think it must have been 5 or 6 in the morning. I actually woke myself up talking. My delicious little babies, okay? So I was talking and I actually woke myself up. Okay, now what I was talking about, I just do not know, but you know what I mean? But the point is, I woke myself up in the process, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? You know what I should do? I should really get myself, I have got one of those, what they those little mini, I forgot what you call them now. Those little mini silver looking things. And I think it's got like a, you can like tape, you know, your voice or whatever, the room or whatever, for about 8 hours. I feel that I should do that, Marslish babies. Maybe one day, Marslish babies, and just see what the blooming heck I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean, Marslish babies? Yes. Then so I felt like that really, Marslish babies. I have felt better today, even though I haven't had what I would call much sleep. I would just call it as though I feel as though there we are, like I've blinked and I've woken up. Okay, Martin babies, whereas the past few days I have literally felt zapped. There we are, really zapped. You know what I mean? Whereas normally I wouldn't feel that way. Okay, so that's how I know, there we are, that it's coming round again. I'm going to hear something. There we are, I just know it. Okay, and it's usually somebody who I've known. Like could be an elderly, bless the beautiful dear little souls, not in that way, not in that way, but you know what I mean, like that. Okay, um, very rarely is it somebody who's much younger. It's usually, thankfully, well, anyway, we shouldn't say that about, I'll never say that about the elderly either, because, they've got such beautiful words of wisdom, you know what I mean? Martelish babies can. And of course, they remember the old world, don't they, Martelish babies? Yes. Anyway, the other thing that I want to say, Martelish babies, while I'm just, getting it all off my chest, okay, Martelish babies, is that I'm actually getting rather peed off with what's it called, with geopolitics, Martelish. I'm just getting peed off with it all now, Martelish babies. It's draining me. I'm still listening to my regular uploaders who I listen to. Okay, but it's as though, my foot's half in and half out. Sorry, Marge, that's just what's just coming to my noddle. It's like my foot is half in and half out. So it's like I'm listening, but I'm not, I would feel paying as much attention as what maybe I used to. You know what I mean? Because you see, I'm too busy as well, looking at other things, like different types of videos. Like late yesterday evening, what I was doing, I was in bed, and what I was doing was I was actually looking up my surname, and going deeper into that Martin babies. Now, of course, for some, they will say, on some, what do they call it? Like on the websites. For some, they will say that, it's Irish. Well, it comes up a lot as Irish, actually. But then it also comes up as Scottish as well. Okay, Martin babies. So, I've been sort of looking more into that, and like the history of my surname and things like this now. Then, do you know what I mean? Because my surname is not, well, it's not as common. You know what I mean, Martin babies? It's not like, say, as common as, well, what I'm going to say to you now, Martin babies, because I'm going to advertise a couple of videos, Martin babies, but this is to do with British surnames. Okay, Martin babies. Well, actually, you'll also find, Martin babies, that, well, not a lot of English names, or well, surnames, Martin babies, are actually English. Mind you, I did look many years ago at the box in the corner of the room, Martin babies, when I once owned a box in the corner of the room. I haven't done for many years now, Martin babies. Well, where they actually did this study. I said this actually not long after I first started on my channel, my YouTube channel, Martin babies. And it turned out that there's only 20% who are true, and that was years and years ago, Martin babies, with true English heritage. For the other 80%, it seems, because they do throw numbers around, but they've been doing this for decades. There we are, having them, Martin babies, yes. But for the other 80%, apparently, only according to what I was looking at this, this documentary thing. Um, well, it turns out that the other 80% no. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, so the point is, I was looking into that. It's really quite fascinating because it was saying about my, you have to look at a number of different uh, websites to really get a feel for everything. You know what I mean? My delicious babies when you're reading up, okay? Um, but what did it say? Sorry, it said my surname will be linked to. I mean, we are going back a very long way back. Okay, my delicious babies. That doesn't mean no. Um, farming. Well, I did put up a shorty video, didn't I, Martin? Just babies, looky. Because I'm growing my celery. I've got my other beautiful little baby celery over there now in the window. This is my second little baby. I'm going to be growing shortly. He's going to be potted. Okay, Martin, just babies. And my spuds. Okay, so they're all growing as well, Martin, just babies. But the carrots, I'm having a problem with. Okay. Well, maybe I had a wish that I'd have met the farmers. All that flipping, whatever o'clock ago, my delicious babies, decades ago, you know what I mean? To show me where I'm flipping going. Anyway, I wasn't going wrong. Everything was going, there we are, perfectly well. It's just that whatever happened, right, and it didn't matter where I positioned my little carrots and everything, right, they'd always get a tumbler of rain. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? And they got drenched. Now, for my little celery and my little spuds, now they're all close together because I showed on my short video, but they never really took much impact of water. But my little carrots did for some strange reason. But they were growing, they had the little leaves and everything. So anyway, it's gone a little bit wrong, but I've still just left them there for now. You never know. They may sprout out. There we are. They may just very well sprout out. I might just wake up one morning and have a beautiful surprise. You know what I mean? Mad, delicious babes. Anyway, the thing is, I'm just chattering on now, right? So also trades. What do you say? Trades people for my surname. What else? Governance. Okay, my delicious little babies. Governance. Okay. Well, I always said if I had my way, which of course I never would, but it's just you know what I mean. I'm just saying, just as saying. Give myself 2 weeks now. There we are, and I'd completely turn everything around. There we are in this country. There we are. Please believe me on that one. You know what I mean, my delicious babies. There we are. Yes. Okay. There'll be none of this crap that's going on. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies, not at all, not at all. Now then, my delicious babies, so there's that. Also, acting, also the arts. So, it's really fascinating, my delicious babies, to see where that's why I just, sometimes I just need to take myself away from the other because the reason why I'm mad to the babies because when the countries and one's going into the countries, well, it's none of us, you and I, mad to the babies, who are wanting any of this. Do you see what I mean, mad to the babies? Okay, but there always seems to be, and please don't get me wrong, for the ones where it is real, because I've said this before and I repeat it again, there we are, even though ones do not want to hear this, crisis actors. There we are, because there are. Okay, my delicious babies, not everybody wants to hear this, but there we are, that is the truth. Okay, so I'm not here to hurt, offend, or upset anybody. I'm just done telling it, there we are, in my camera, the way it is. But the fact of the matter is, yes, there would have been realities, clearly, but we must also remember about the little bombs here, there, and everywhere else. You know what I mean? My delicious babies. Okay, so there's lots and lots over the decades, my delicious babies. But the point is, it's always usually to do with the other side of the world. Now, none of us, you and I, my little babies, have said to ourselves, right, woke up in the morning, says, right, okay, I just fancy sending troops off, soldiers just to go and bomb other countries and just to attack, mankind over there and our beautiful little and large animals, creatures, great and small. No, we haven't. Do you see what I mean? So what's happening is I'm getting drained with it all. So because of that, that's up there in my noddle, and that does not mean I'm mentally ill, Mardish babies, and I'm not saying anything once again about very sadly anybody who very sadly does suffer with the mental health. I do not mean it that way. I'm just saying it was getting to myself, plus feeling washed out, zapped, from, because I know I'm gonna, there we are, hear something. Do you understand what I mean, Madslish baby? So it's like a double whammy, and I just thought, you know what, I just need to chillax me noddle. Do you understand what I mean, Madslish babies? That's just how I feel. Because otherwise it can just really get to you. And when you're listening, you're like, oh my life, then there's something else in this. So I just thought, you know what? So I'm half switched on and then I'm half not. Like I said, I got my foot half in and it's half out. So I'm listening, but am I paying the full attention to it right now? Sadly, no. Okay, my delicious babies now. So, right, okay. And I'm really pleased, by the way, I've got to say this, my delicious babies. I'm really pleased that Gary, capital G, space, capital W, Waterman. I'm really pleased that his numbers are going up, my delicious little babies. And like I said, I'm just interested because he talks about to do with Companies House, gov.uk in our old England, my delicious little babies. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested because he's linking so many different things together, to do with just to do with lots of things. But like anyway, I'm not going to keep saying it. I'm not here to stir, to cause anything. No, I am not to stir the pot. Certainly not there for that. Okay, but from what I can see, he's the only one. There we are. Who's doing this? I've heard the odd uploader. Probably two who mentioned the odd little tiny thing, but nobody's really talking about this smart little babies, okay? And we all want to know the reason. There we are. Why, okay? So his numbers now, Martin Ishtuk Babies, has gone up to 5 point. Is it 79,000 subscribers? There we are. I'm really super duper pleased about that. Now the other one, and with anybody, sorry, I should have said that at the beginning. With anybody not in that way, right? And the other one I'm super duper pleased about. I really, really am pleased about this. Okay, is capital S Simon space capital D Dixon. Now he's up to 170,000 subscribers, Martin baby. So I'm really super duper pleased about that as well, because what he's doing as well, he's, it's like, there we are, cut the crap, there we are, and be done saying what you're saying, there we are, that is what he's doing. Now, okay, he admits himself, maybe he doesn't always get the timings correct. Well, we could say this about other dear uploaders as well. They're all dear, all of them are. But the fact of the matter is, Martin babies, I happen to find, there we are, his videos, like Gary Waterman's and Simon Dixon's, there we are, very interesting, not in that way. So I'm finding myself at the moment being more drawn, there we are, towards, and I'm just being honest in my camera, Martin babies, I'm being drawn towards this because at the end of the day, right, we need to see, which of course, other uploaders of course say, but we need to see where we're going. Of course, we could end all of this, there we are, tomorrow. If everybody got together and just said, no, okay, there we are, it'd be finished, it'd be done. Okay, Martin babies, but of course, very sadly, we're not in that situation, are we? It's common sense, isn't it? This is a problem that we've got. And why have we got this problem? Why have we got this problem? Because others do not want to accept, they still want to be damn well babied. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm going to vote for this. Oh, I'm going to vote for that. I'll just get totally drained, there we are, and cheesed off listening to it. There we are, I genuinely do, my delicious babies. That's the stage I'm at right now. Okay, there we are, my delicious baby. I really, really am. Okay? Because You can see all of the propaganda. You can see all of the shots. Come on, for effing hell's sake, cut through the shit, man. Do you know what I mean? What we're trying to do at the moment, and what Simon Dixon talks about, is the fact that, yes, he discusses a lot to do with Bitcoin, but he's also talking about, right, to find ways, okay, um, for ones to be able to be more in a sovereign sense. That's the words that ones use. Sovereign. Okay, so we need to be looking. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, instead of well, this one had a dog and bone call with that one, and this one is getting married, and that one's got an island. Well, this is a crock of shit, man. There we are. This is just a crock of shit. And if you listen to majority, not all, but the majority of uploaders, my delicious babies, they're all parroting, like Peter the parrot, the same damn thing now. So you listen to one, it's like spreading bread and butter. It's like spreading bread and butter. It's like you stood there. Imagine I've just got this in my noddle. From when you're young, it's like you've got a dinner lady, right? And she's there, and she's like one of the kooks in the sky. Everything what's just been shown now, and she got a little net on, and she's just, next piece of bread, spread that, put that there. Next piece of bread, spread that, put that there. Till in the end, she's like this. That's what it's like, my delicious babies. So, but we're not hearing much on, well, I know with our lovely dear David art.com, okay, nothing will ever stop myself from listening to our lovely dear David art.com, because I enjoy listening to our lovely David art.com and his lovely dear sons, Gareth and Jamie, and their dear friend Richard. There we are. Yes, I do. Not in that way, not in that way. But David, bless his dear little soul, he gives a solution. There we are. Straight away. Okay? His sons, there we are. Straight away. And their dear friend, straight away. There we are. Give the solution. There we are. My delicious babies. And I'm not even into all of this bloody arena of shit. Right? I give my flipping solution. There we are. Which I do. Okay, my delicious babies. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of others who do not want to go back to the bread and butter now. They don't want to do it. So instead, they propagandize, they tell shit till the no more shit can come out their mouth, isn't it? That is how I feel, my delicious babies. Genuinely, to my heart to heart, that is how I'm feeling right now. So I'm more interested in how we're going to get ourselves, okay, which we already know the answer, but it's to get all the wheels to turn. You know what I mean? I'm not shouting at you, Martinish babies. It's just damn well frustration with myself. I get damn well frustrated, man. There we are. Really simple things, frustration. Do you know what I mean? Okay, because I know, there we are, that you got a good, like a good little crowd of us. Not in that way, because I do not incite anything. I do not mean that. Ones who have got noddle. So I'm not saying that others have not got a noddle. I'm just saying we're talking about strength. Mental strength. Do you see what I mean? Okay, my delicious babies. And bless dear David Ark, his lovely dear soul. I do not know how he's gone on 30 odd years. I really just do not, dear David, honestly. You know what I mean? Sometimes you must have felt like just a figure of speech, flipping banging your head up against a flipping brick wall, man, you know what I mean? Because that's what it's like. There we are, that's what it's like. You know what I mean? So, it's just how I feel. And I know that not everybody now is going to like what I've got to say, isn't it? But simple thing, who gives a figures F anyway? Because nobody really watches my videos. Nobody really listens to them. If I do receive a view or a like or the occasional comment, well, thank you. I'm not referring to yourselves, okay? But from us, you see, there's too many. I've been done saying this, whatever, o'clock ago. They all want everybody to subscribe to their channels, to likey, bing, 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 bing. But what it is now, then they wouldn't take it upon themselves because I think their own shit doesn't stink. You know what I mean? Oh well, I can subscribe to somebody else. No, 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 because they seem to think they're above this. There we are. They seem to think they're well above. Do you know what I mean, Martin? Little babies. Well, you say this is the world that has been created, isn't it? And of course, ones go along with this. But for the ones of us, there we are, who know, there we are. It's very it's just very difficult and it's very draining, especially when you know that there we are. We could just turn things around just like that, just like that. Do you know what I mean? There we are. Okay. Now, two videos. So the first one, Martin Little Babies. This uploader happens to have 1,300 subscribers, Martin Little Babies. Although they do have another one, but this is called Letters. Capital L on both on YouTube, Martin Little Babies. Capital L letters space capital F, not capital. Sorry, that's a little all literating from, and then space capital B Britannia. So that's the uploader. So with spaces, letters from Britannia, but they do have another channel. Okay, so it might just be from Britannia or something. Anyway, I think that's about 37 point something thousand. Anyway, um, unless I'm reading it wrong, I don't know because I look at that many videos. Martinish babies, you know what I mean? So please do forgive me every now and again, you know what I mean? I cannot get everything correct. Anyway, nobody does. Right, so, and this video here, I'm just trying to remember how many minutes long now. It's about 17 something minutes. Okay, Martinish babies. And then the video should read the 15 oldest British surnames, Martin Little Babies, still in use today. Okay, Martin Little Babies, so I'm just going to repeat that once more for you, shall I? The 15 oldest British surnames still in use today. Okay, Martin Little Babies, very, very interesting actually. Now, the final video, Martin Little Babies, and then I'm going to be over and out. Um, uh, this one here, Martin Little Babies, capital R, real, space, capital L, life, laugh, and then space, capital D, documentary. That's the upload, Martin Little Babies. Okay, so with spaces, real, laugh, documentary. Okay, I may have advertised them. Maybe once. There we are. Maybe once before I've advertised them. Okay, Martin, because it rings a bell. You can ring my bell, ring my bell. What year was that song, Martin Little Babies? This uploader happens to have 28.2 thousand subscribers, Martin Little Babies, and this is it 26 minutes something long, Martin Little Babies. Now the video should read real life laugh. Remember, two ways. In India, what happens to women here will leave you speechless. Ritual, taboos, and survival. Okay, Martin Little Baby, so I'm just going to repeat this again for you. Real life in India. What happens to women here will leave you speechless. Ritual, taboos, and survival. Okay, Martin Little Babies, now I can close my book. Oh, I forgot to tick off yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? To do with all the blood groups, and to do with the different percentages. I've just ticked them all off now, Martin Little Babies. Now then, so let's have a quick discuss of that, because the surnames are the surnames. But as I've said before on many of my videos, I always, there we are, say and do things. There we are for a reason, never for no reason. Okay, Martin Little Babies. So anyway, we'll get my there we are, gist of what I'm talking about. Now then, Martin Little Babies. So this one here. So So it seems that a certain part in India, marginalised babies, where what they do from the age of 15 to 35, that seems to be the bracket age wise, where, well, basically, let's just say the women appear to be, there we are, the breadwinners. Okay, marginalised babies, and anyway, so that goes on. But even though the uploader's title, so I'm not saying it against the uploader, not at all, okay? Uh, but there was plenty of other things going on. Okay, marginalistic babies, a bit like when you receive leather from India, marginalistic babies. Of course, you know, our beautiful dear little cats, oh, how I love them so, they're beautiful little sorcerers. Well, they're very sacred in India. So what is it the video said? What did the man say? Is it 22 out of 29? Because this is an incarceration offence. So if anybody was to harm one of our beautiful dear little cows, well, they would be in serious trouble, marginalised babies. But the part I never got, so please call me illiterate, marginalised babies, which I do not believe I am, no. So how does the cow's leather get from India to other parts of the world? I'm just asking a question, marginalised babies anyway. But then it shows you plenty of other things, like, of course, you know, because they have a severe sewage problem, you know, even though, like, the country, let's just say there's plenty coming into the country, isn't it? Chink, 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 chink. But there still seems to be so many problems. Even to the point of, like, toilets as well. Mm. Okay, marginalised babies. I mean, we can talk forever and a day about, you know, the toilets. You know, who believes that a toilet should be inside a home? Others believe a toilet should be outside a home. Well, anyway, this could be an ongoing debate for many in the world to discuss, you know what I mean? Marginalistic babies. So, you know, with anything like that, especially those subjects or topics, it goes on and on. Do you know what I mean? Marginalistic babies, okay? But it shows you proper, um, you know, cow number twos, you know, where you used to be able to smell it, you know, used to drive in our English countryside, smartish babies. I'm pretty sure if you drove further enough out, you probably would still smell it, you know, like horse manure or cow's manure. Okay, martinistic babies, you know, but it's very difficult to get even a bag of decent soil these days, martinistic babies. That's why I'm convinced that, you know, and with the rain as well all the time. Like I said, I don't mind rain, just not every effing day, Mads. Lichtlich babies, well, this is clearly why things are not thriving, there we are, as well as what they should be. But it seems that on this video, Mads, babies, they really do get most enjoyment out of throwing cows' manure number two. And it's all about, they're looking at it more from a spiritual sense, martyrish babies. Then they're talking about another part, but this is more towards the end where they're talking about there's a certain part in India who are cannibals. Okay, martyrish babies. Now he did show actually about these ones on the little island. Well, I seen that whatever o'clock many years ago. Okay, martyrish babies. So that was nothing new to myself. But in all fairness, I hadn't seen that particular on this video, Martish Babes. I've never seen this part. So I've got to be honest, hands up. Hands up, baby, hands up. Give me your heart, give me your heart, give me hands up. Do you remember that song, Martish Babes? It's all right, I've just, what year was that song, Martish Babies? Yes. Anyway, but the point is that that's what happens. So you've got like certain cannibals, and they remain that way, although they are a very small percentage, martyristic babies. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, for the minutes of the video, the uploader, bless, not in that way, not in that way. did fit a lot into the video. But my point is, Martin, little babies, why should the Indians, there we are, have to live like that, and with the dirty water and with the sewage and with everything? I mean, please do not get me wrong, Martin, baby. We've all got problems, haven't we, in all of our countries? You know what I mean, Martin, babies. But my point is, why should they have to live like that? Okay, Martin, babies. Now, looking at some of the comments of, um, it seems to myself there are quite a lot who really just do not want to visit India, Martin, little babies. Mind you, I've got to be honest. I mean, I know some beautiful, not in that way, not in that way. Some beautiful Indian families, Mardish babies, and like I said before, I've got a very close friend of mine, one of my beautiful dear little friends. She's Indian, okay. We've been dear friends for some years now. Then, but my point is, Mardish babies, is this is that even for in the comments, even there was some who were like Indian and sorry, excuse me, Martin, baby's just had a slight cough, tickle. Um, well, they seem to be ashamed of their own country as well. Martin, babies, India. I just feel that the whole lot is such a shame. They shouldn't have to live like that. Nobody should have to live like that. And I mean, if you look at YouTube videos, let me tell you, there's flipping thousands galore here, Martin. It's just the babies to do with food poisoning. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. I mean, you're talking, it's really flipping damn rink bad. There we are. Do you know what I mean, Martin? Babies. I mean, you imagine. I mean, I spoke to somebody, like I said on one of my other videos, in Egypt. There we are. She was lucky to be alive. I mean, she had to go on a drip at the hospital, Martin, babies, because she would never have. She said that she's telling the truth if she was going to pass away. So it can be very serious. Food poisoning can be very serious. Do you know what I mean, Martin, babies? It's not just like a 24-hour bug. No, 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 no. This is a flipping 1,000 times worse, Martin, babies. And what is that? That is usually either something that is way past its sell-by date. It's off. You know what I mean? And of course, it could be bad hygiene, not washing hands, but, it could be not cooking, whatever it is, thoroughly or properly. Do you know what I mean? Martin, babies, kind. Whereas I seen something, what was it, going into these great big wheelie bin things, okay, Martin, babies, and that was over in England. I mentioned this some years back on one of my videos, Martin, babies, and they went in. They got the food out. Some of the meat, like mince and everything, was like 5-day old. And then one of these famous chefs, the one with the ginger and white beard and grey hair, you know who I'm talking about, Martin Bates, anyway, in England. He talks very posh. Anyway, well, he, with all the food, made one massive, colossal table, a banquet with all that food. And even though that meat was about, what it was 5-day out of date. Nobody had a bad tummy. So this is telling myself that there's a severe problem, quite clearly, which I've known for years. There we are, Marge's babies, to do with India and things like this now then, and different countries. Okay, but it's very sad. But they're getting all sorts of diseases and germs when nobody should have to live like it. For goodness sake, we're in 2026. Nobody should have to live like that at all. Not England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, or beyond. Nobody should have to live like that. And anyway, that's how I'm going to leave my video, but what a terrible shame. But let me tell you, all these videos are not really helping India much. We ones wanting to go there, Martin, look babies, you know what I mean? Of course, you've got other bloggers, or whatever you call them. I don't know, do you call them bloggers or vloggers? Oh, I don't know. Okay, Martin, babies, I do not know. Where they go to India, and they love India and everything, and they get, but they know the places where to eat and where the places not to eat. You know what I mean? Mad delicious babies. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I suppose, in other words, you've got to know where you've got to eat and where not to eat. Oh, and one piece of good news, okay? Um, Finally, three of my fence panels, I've sold them, my delicious babies, today. Okay, my delicious babies, okay. I lost 15, ka-ching, 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 ching, 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 okay. So I sold them slightly cheaper. But they never wanted the M1, but I was pleased about that because that's only a half. So I've got to get somebody with an electric saw and just to saw that bit because otherwise it's going to cost me more. Okay, my baby, so I've got to get three new panels now, which will be the correct size. Okay, my baby, because let me tell you, that just looked colossal. It looked vile. I was absolutely disgusted with looking at it every single day. It's not the fences, bless. It's not the wood. It's the bloody size of it, man. It was colossal, and it's a proper eyesore. You know, when you wake up in the morning, do you know what I mean? You're supposed to wake up, rise and shine, and then you look at that. You know what I mean, mad babes, and it flipping just depressed me. And I never get depressed, but it's I could be having a wonderful day, and I just take one bing, and that's it. You know what I mean, mad babe. Oh, it just put me straight off anyway. But now they've gone to a lovely home, okay, where there's lots of little babies, like my beautiful little mares with beautiful little rooms and Aunt Carla's beautiful little Chinny from up the road. They've got beautiful little babies, okay, and they've got the mummy and daddy and the mummy's at home and everything because they're retired, and and they need them because it will match their garden, which is what I thought I was going to be receiving. Do you know what I mean? Mad little babies, but there was a little bit of mix up with how tall they were going to be. Okay, mad little babies anyway, so I'll go and get some others. There's a quote actually that I've seen. Is it 95 ka-ching? And that's for the three. So so that's going to be done this month. And then I'm going to be painting them, and then I'll show you all my babies, what I'm going to do with it. But it's just going to look proper then. It's going to look in line with our garden fence should be. Do you know what I mean? My little babies, how the fences rather should be, okay? And I'll feel super duper deliciously happy. Even now, even though they're gone, you need to see it, my little baby. It just looks so much more brighter. Because you'd be very surprised that, tall fences, how it blocks out the daylight. Mad little babies, it's just so beautiful and airy now. I said, goodbye, our beautiful little fences. I said, please enjoy your new home. I talk to everything, mad little babies. It's energy, isn't it? Everything's energy. A sofa that you sit on, a rug, anything is energy. Mad little babies, but what the key is if you need to, especially if one's going to buy second-hand stuff or anything like that, cleanse it, use a bit of sage and everything, say a good prayer with it, you know what I mean? Mad little babies, usually, there we are, solves the problem, okay? Anyway, my delicious babies, so whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected in how I love you so. Okay? And please take care of yourselves now. Please try to take care of others because we are in a bonkers, crackers, and crazy world. Or if you have anything secondhand as well, I forgot to say, maybe if you know anybody who's got a little little cleaner thing or something like this now, then give it a little clean. Depends where it comes from. Sometimes you can have something second hand, as long as you know where it's from and it's clean, then you hunky dory tickety boo, you know what I mean? But if you're having things where you don't know where it's from, well, you got to make sure, I suppose, that there isn't, I don't know, a little bit like licorice, all sorts in or on it. You know what I mean? Martish babies. Anyway, love ya. Thank you once again for listening, for any views, for any likes. How I love you also. Take care. Until next time. Goodbye.